Hey friends, we are back. This is the last video for Lesson 8 of 2015 Adobe Illustrator CC Classroom in a Book. We're on page 243 and we're under warping text. So this is where your text gets all its cool different effects and whatnot. So we're going to go to card 2 in our artboards. Card front. And we're going to take our type tool, keyboard shortcut T, and we're going to highlight Sodaco. And we're going to make to type, change cake, chase. Actually, we're going to make sure on the right layer first. Text. So we're going to take this buzz to type, change case, uppercase, and we're going to change the font size to 62. And then undo the font size for the buzz, but keep it all caps. We're going to change Sodaco to 62. In the control panel. And with the selection, I feel like that buzz should be bigger. That buzz is supposed to be 92. There you go. That's better. So take our selection tool and highlight this selection, Buzz Sodaco. In our control panel, you have a couple different options because it's type, character, paragraph, etc. We're going to go to this little thing here that says make envelope. We're making an envelope warp in the control panel. And there's, we're going to make sure preview is selected. And the text certainly appears as an arc, and you can kind of switch around to arc upper, lower. So going through and looking at all the different elements helps you think of how else these different things you can do, and you can play around with size to get some regular type a different effect. So we're just going to click that again. So we're going to make sure it is arc, horizontal. We're going to make the horizontal and vertical 0, but we're going to make this bend 24. And we're going to click OK. That's how to make an envelope warp. So we're going to do edit it. So with the type tool selected, I missed step 1. With the envelope object still selected, we're going to hit the edit contents button in your control panel, so you have all these different edits. So this one looks like a star, and you're going to click that. And you're going to edit, this is one way we can edit text within the warp shape. So we're going to use the type tool and select the cursor over it, and you notice it kind of highlights to the original, which is fine. So we're just going to triple click under Sodaco, where it kind of selects all of it. We're going to tilt the character panel. We're just going to click this right there, and we're going to take the leading that's 74, take it to 50. And that's kind of nesting it a bit closer. So we're going to get out of the character panel. And with our selection tool, we're going to make sure the envelope object is still selected. I can tell that because in the upper left corner it says envelope and tells us what kind of object we're on. And we can kind of do some other adjustments when we're doing the edit contents. if we do this little wonky dude, you can change the horizontal and vertical arc, etc. So over here, we're going to change our bend to 12%. And you can do this little slider. Kind of a soft bend. And that was for the horizontal. And with the selection tool, we're going to drag the selected object to about the center of this because it kind of moved. Kind of use your eyes to guide everything. And there you go. So next is we're going to add text on this dotted path. And you can kind of see it lightly right there depending on the color space of your screen. So since we're adding type to it, I might just scoot it up a little so it fits right there. So you can type on a path. So with paths we can make with shapes, open paths, closed paths, anchor points, using the pen tool. You can make a path with the brush tool and use type that way. So with the selection tool, we're going to select the dash line right there. And we're going to go to Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste in Front. So the copy of this path is directly pasted on top of the original. Now we're going to go to our Type tool in our control panel. And if you kind of hold it open, there's different options. And we're going to do the Type on Path tool. But we don't necessarily have to do that. We can just do the Type tool. So if you put your cursor over it, it kind of does this wonky dotted line. And the text starts where we start clicking the path. And then the stroke attributes will change to none. And it'll kind of get rid of that dotted line. So that's why we made the copy. So we have that copy of that dotted line. So now, before we do anything, we're going to go to Window, Type, Paragraph Styles to open up the panel. We're bringing back those paragraph styles. And we're going to Alt-click or Option-click Normal Paragraph Style to apply it. Now we're going to type honey-infused natural sodas, the first letter of each word, capitalize. And it's going to make it huge. So with our selection tool, we're just going to 3 times and take it from 92 to 18 point. We're going to change the fill color to Buzz Brown. And then we're going to reposition this type. So with our selection tool, you notice there's a little white box here. And we can click and drag it. If we hover it just right, you see the little kind of pointer arrow too, and it changes. So we can align the text left, center, however you want. And we're going to drag to the right, based on the picture and the text, where that kind of honey kind of starts a little bit as coda. So as we move it, it's moving up to path. Alright, that looks good. So instead of being directly under, it's kind of following this little path, which is pretty cool. So we're just going to deselect, Command S, and it's right there. So next we're creating type on a closed path. So we're going to go to Artboard 1 and zoom in on the circle down here. So with our type tool, keyboard shortcut T, if you put it over the path, you can see it has a circle around it, and that's not necessarily that we want. So we're not going to click into it. What we're going to do is we're going to hold Option or Alt key, this modifier, and it takes it to that wonky wavy thing. And we're going to hold down, click, and we're typing in certified organic all caps. So don't worry about the size right now because we're going to play with that later. So our next step is we're going to edit it because that doesn't look too great. It looks basic, and we don't want to be basic. So with our selection tool, we're going to triple click on Certified Organic. We're going to take it to 12 point, and we're going to change that color to Buzz Brown. The next we're going to do is with our selection tool in the Tools panel, we're going to, with the path selected, which it is, we haven't deselected it, we're going to go type on path options. Type on path options. This is really cool. We're going to click preview so you can do different effects where it's on a path. So what we're going to do is actually choose rainbow. We're going to align to path A center so it flips it down. And we're going to take that spacing to -11. And we're going to click OK. Now the next step is with our selection tool, we're going to position the pointer over the line to the left of the word certified. And these little boxes right here. And the cursor changes to that. That's kind of the bracket. And you're going to click and drag over. I'm going to drag it up where it fits right there. And actually, that's not all caps. So I'm going to pull my character. There we go. That changes my spacing. And right there looks good. So we're going to drag, we're going to deselect, and we're going to drag across the leaf, text on path, and green circle. We're going to select all of them. So we're just going to drag a box so everything is selected. And drag the leaf down away from the column of the text so they're not touching. So basically, if your text is touching the leaf, you want to adjust it. If it's right up there. So we can just nudge it down, maybe over. We want to be mindful not too close to the edge. And then we'll zoom out. And our next step is creating text outlines. So when you worked on your postcard, you dealt with text outlines, and we're going to kind of play with them there, or now. So we're going to select this, and we're going to actually just nudge it down a bit so it's not touching that B. And with it selected, you're going and when you do outlines, you can do all these different, it's a text that you're okay with, you don't want to change it anymore, and you can edit it like a shape. You can really do all, like you can do Pathfinder. I'm a big fan of making text into objects because it allows more, allows a lot of uniqueness that I can offer. So with it selected, we're going to go to Edit, Copy, or Command or Control C, and then we're going to do Object Hide Selection. And what we're doing with this is we're just kind of keeping it a text object in case we won't need it later. It's kind of like saving all your files and keeping all of your layers in Photoshop so you can make those modifications like using the mask tool. So now we're going to go to paste in front, or Command F, which is paste in front. And we're going to right click, create outlines. So you can see all these anchor points right here. And if you want to edit them more, you can right click, ungroup, and move these letters around. I really suggest you try that to play around with what you can do with type and whatnot. So let's zoom out. And everything fits good. So we're going to do a Command S, and we're going to export this for a grade. Match it up to the end. And everything looks awesome. So it kind of matches. File, export. And we're going to do JPEG, use artboards, and we have 3 artboards, so we're doing what range, 1 to 3, so they're not all in the same. We'll do export, large files, resolution 300, click OK. All right, and you'll submit this and you'll get a great grade, and we'll see you next time. Enjoy.